Now that we have a confirmation about the bull market for XRP, we are going to look at this point. Can XRP really reach $500? Right now it's at 0.5, so can it go to 550 and 500? Is that even a possibility? That's what we are going to try and break down in this video. Now this is a different asset which has done a price structure like what you are seeing on the screen. You can guess what asset this is, and we are going to break these down. But before that, you need to understand what the price action looks like. One, because just looking at a Japanese candlestick, a lot of people tend to have questions. Are we really trending higher? So we just change that to a line chart, and this is what you actually see. Basic sense, right? You make a higher high, you break through that. That's great. Now if you go look at a short-term chart again, you tend to see the same inside that market. Then you take a step back, look at the weekly chart, and it is becoming super bullish. The way you see that day, we're gonna go break that down, but it definitely suggests that there is something big coming in for the price. One, and then you go different area to look at like XRP dominance in a similar manner, XRP BTC. You want to really look at what price action is actually suggesting, whether you can really reach the level of $500 like we just talked. Let's break that down. This is the scientific investor family, where the normal common guys learn how to become the world's next top 10%. So as we look through these charts, you do have to keep in mind that when we talk about a trend to the upside, we do understand how the structure forms. That's the basic stuff which we all need to know, because this is how the market actually works. So when you see these short-term fluctuations, you need to look at where this is in terms of the macro. So that we go back into Bitcoin. You can look at Bitcoin on a monthly, weekly, whatever you would like to. But remember, when you put that into a different viewpoint, which is a line chart here, this is what you actually see. Right now, you're trying to slow down, you're trying to, bounce, all that is present. But when you go on to a weekly, you kind of get a little bit of different picture there, right? So that's the trend in the market. You zoom in, this is one high, this is another one, you extend that line, and this is going to be your resistance. Agreed, right? Then you connect through this and it's like, okay, there is a possibility we are trying to break higher. So even though Bitcoin is low, it's making all this negative sense. I'm like, okay, let's really wait and see what it's about to do. Because on the RSI, it kind of suggests to you like, okay, I'm not actually going down without a fight, right? You literally observe that Bitcoin is acting like this, near that breakout for a macro falling wedge. Great. So that's a shift in the market. Maybe it's going to be XRP, which is going to blast through the resistance and bring the entire market into that bullish sentiment. We don't know. But right now, when you go look at the market and search for what the market is doing, last one day you see Quant, Stellar, Maker, others slowly grinding to the upside, and last 1 week, it's really kind of fundamental assets slowly gaining and grinding to the upside. Now, being that, as we see in the market, we come to look at the XRP dominance, then we come here. This is the macro picture which we really want to focus on today. Then you go back on a meme coin, which is Doge. We see like a 90x, say 89x, 90x in the first entire wave structure, the entire price action. Then you go look at XRP, it's like 660x, close to that. Great. So what happened here is like around a 3x. So that's like, okay, wave 2 of this asset is done. So you got a wave 1, you went down, then you went into that accumulation range, and then you bursted through for your wave 2. So now you come look at XRP, and this is your wave 1. So if this is your wave 1, what you are looking at is 33 times wave 2. So inside wave 2, we are waiting for the same fluctuation. Now, when we take this into account, we have a lot of similarity here. Say, for example, you can actually say like, okay, why can't you consider a high like this when we are here? So that in XRP means you erase everything here and try to put a line connecting this top, and extend that. There are people who suggest this one, right? That's also a possibility. But what we have seen in the market is it did not happen like that. Actually, you went through this previous level, you extended that level, and what happens is the price reached that high, it slows down a bit, but again it gains momentum and bursts through for the final leg up. Great. So if you go onto the XRP and try to do the same, this is one high, you're extending through the next one and then extending it to the sky. At least that's what it looks like here. Now, first you try to measure the total move and we know that it's somewhere close to 650. Great. Now, when you actually take that and extend that into 2 to 3 times, there is one more coincidence waiting for us. Say it's here, 180x, 1800x. That 3 times, wave 1 and wave 2 also get to see our resistance when we are reaching here. So if this is the case, what we are talking about here is this move. You have done that, great. And then you do this leg. So by the time it reached here, you had a resistance. That was your previous range. So it was really open to go through that, after which it then gained massive momentum. So I'm not saying it's going to go through this and reach $1,000, $10,000 per XRP. What I'm saying is there is a possibility if these kind of massive price fluctuations can happen in one asset, that to a Dogecoin, the meme coin, then in a fundamental assets that is possible. You cannot deny the fact that it is possible in the market when it is actually showing you that I've been doing a reversal pattern for a very long time after this huge trend to the upside. So if we deny the fact that, okay, it's been doing that, it's completely up to you. But if we look at this and say there is even 1% probability that this can go like this, but let's also look at the conservative side too. Say here you get this picture. So now what if it's 2 times, not 3 times? And that happens to be like, $360. What if it's 1.5 times? Now, why 1.5 times? We have seen that happening with Link. If you go look at Link, you'll actually see wave 1 into 1.5 is like wave 2. You get that picture there. And then same wave 1, wave 3 is almost similar. So now if we put that structure, instead of that 600x, what we are going to see is like a 900. So even at that point, you're looking for like massive price actions because you are trying to plot it there, right? But if we actually think in a different manner, like, okay, this is happening, but the pattern actually suggests to you that I have like 16x after the break here, and that 16x is taking you somewhere close to 37. So this one can literally be third wave, not wave 2. So inside this, you will see major fluctuations where people have a hard time agreeing on this one, but this does happen in the market. What? You actually burst through, you make wave 1, you correct back down, and that's a heavy correction. And after that heavy correction, you do wave 2, you come back down, and then you do this. So this is your one cycle. But if you look at the macro big picture for this asset, this is your wave 1, you correct it back down, and you're doing your wave 2. Great. That's why this is the biggest wave. That's the theory. That's the textbook. Now, inside that wave 2, if you are zooming in or even looking at this clearly, you get wave 1, you get wave 2, and you get wave 3, the blow through the roof. So you kind of get clear picture that this is happening. But with XRP, the issue is it's highly manipulated. It's really hard to even understand what the hell is going on. But in the last cycle, when we did not have this much amount of manipulation, it was easy to understand the wave structure, right? We had the move here, then we went up, continued that momentum, did correct down after that wave 2, then did the wave 3. Right now, the first major correction for XRP is happening after wave 1. We are all waiting for the wave 2. So if we take that picture clearly and say like, okay, that's what we are looking at, close to like, $16 to $37 to the max. That's a huge standard deviation then and there, right? But the pattern suggests that you can literally do that. And now that you understood that prices tend to go up, that's when it actually go through a major resistance, because this is like you got 1, 2, 3, and the fourth one after your break. But if you zoom in, you can also see that it was a support too, and then turned into a resistance. So that really was a valid range, or at least investors, traders, and other people who are involved in this asset think that it is a responsible line of supply and demand for this asset at that price range. Same, now we are coming back to XRP to put that argument like, okay, what if people think this is going to be the line, right? You're going to look at like $15 per XRP. Now, that's not small. It still is really big in terms of price action when we are at $0.5. But if it is repeating the history, it's literally, it's hard to even explain. If you are an XRP holder and you're going through this price action and you are completely out by $30, $40, $50 and you see it going to $500, this is something you literally cannot do with your technical analysis. At some point, you'll say, okay, this is the resistance. But what happens? The price goes another 10, 12x after that. So in fact, it did a 250x after that. But if you exited here, you got 35. That's a huge difference. Even though we say a 10x, you missed a big area. This is one of the reasons why I say make a proper exit strategy. Even though you take your majority of the profits out by said level, $30, $40, whatever in that wave, if it's really grinding higher after that, now you have an opportunity to take more and average your cost basis to the upside in profit taking scenario. So don't go take everything out, move out of the market completely. Keep some units. If you have 100,000, okay, whatever, say 100 units, a million units, whatever, split it in a proper manner that you can take profits as the market grows, because the dominance here, it's literally showing you it broke higher, it came back, it retested that range, and it is bouncing. Now, why is that so important? Because on a weekly chart for XRP, this is what we actually see. Now, when you zoom in and you already understand that this is how the price action works, great. Now you zoom in and you look at this. This is your previous resistance. And what happens? You break through that. So the basic stuff which we have all learned is the trend. When you're here, there is a huge possibility that you may go down a double top, right? You can do this. Clearly, you can do this. That's a huge possibility. But when you are here and then you break higher, now what you're looking for is a trend like this. You are trending higher. But the first leg here is longer. You see that momentum here? It's not that small. So the trend is going to last for more time because it started with that amount of acceleration or momentum for the price action. We can call it like that. Now, you can literally go on a 4-hour chart, 2-hour chart, whatever you would like to see if you're really interested in the short-term price action, because the short-term price action can go negative. Now, this is what you're observing. You broke through that range. It's all good. It's all great. We have not retested that range yet. So you coming back down to 0.49. Now, it's not a big correction. It's not a huge one, but it is still a possibility considering Bitcoin is right now doing nothing. And XRP is kind of leading the market. You can, in the other words, you can say like, okay, the Bitcoin guys may drop their Bitcoin just to push the XRP price down, or even the Ether guys would do the same. But right now, when you look at the volume of both of these assets, they are down in volume massively. And XRP did not go back to where it was before. $1 billion was really hard for us to break. But right now, when the market generally is low in volume, look at this. The volume in Tether is 20 billion. It used to be like 60, 65, 55, 65, that range. And right now, that's 20 billion. And XRP is still holding way more volume than it used to be. Now, if that does not show you that the money is moving inside crypto and that's coming into, some of that is coming into XRP. I don't know what else will. So as we take another step here, this is general market. You're looking for the Bitcoin, and it's like people are moving from Bitcoin to fiat exchange. That's simple. You're moving out. Great. Even from the crypto world, you're not even considering to be in a stable coin to buy another asset. What you are looking at then is people moving from Bitcoin to other crypto. That is really interesting, because then you move on further to look at the stable coin. What we have here is the USDT, and then we see like, okay, people are moving into the crypto exchanges. Some of them are going into the fiat exchange, but the volume is down than yesterday. We used to get 2 billion a day. Right now, it's not bad. You're getting 1.34 billion in flows for the last 24 hours. That's huge amount of money moving in and out of crypto, in which a lot is going into the crypto exchanges. So why would you personally think like, okay, think if you have stable coins in your wallet, in your ledger, wherever, if you're moving that to an exchange, why would you do that? Buy an asset. Great. Same scenario for everyone is coming out. The market is going to go back up, and when it go back up, we have always seen that the assets which are breaking higher, trending higher, tend to get more volume, and they tend to go way higher than we all imagine. Now, technically, that is, a huge possibility, because when you remove all this and take it back to the Japanese candlesticks and look at the price action using the RSI, you can agree that the RSI, anyone here can agree that the RSI broke higher. Now, being conservative, we can say this is the top here. I aligned that with the RSI and look at the trend like this, a little bit higher. It does not make much difference, but it's still showing you that we broke higher. Then we did not come back down here to retest. That's like a bullish statement. Now, when you want to confirm that one, you are really looking for this. Did you happen to break higher? If you happen to break higher, that is literally showing you when the price drops even a little bit, people are crazy to buy this asset. Now, what that means is like, it's not me or you, it's the market who is deciding, right? When Doge was doing this, if it's me, I would have said like, okay, get out. I don't think it can go much higher. It's a meme coin. But you see what happens? Because the market is irrational. You know that. When the price starts to go up, people tend to chase these green candles. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is get positioned well in an asset which has strong fundamentals, one, then a huge technical reversal pattern on the macro. This is going to give you a lot of advantage in the market. Now, if you are looking to get these calls on the exact time, now I'm saying this because recently when we are looking at the price fluctuation, we had calls on like, the top two assets, then the third, but not the third, the fourth one, fifth one, they are doing really good compared to the market, right? Quant at 150 right now, we had the call at 130 and then at 45 when it was at the major bounce. So if you are looking for that kind of stuff, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. So guys, that being said, if you are receiving value, support the channel, hit that like button. That really helps. So guys, I'll meet you on the next video. Bye for now.